Welcome to the Daily Jerry Anderson podcast, where the presenter once again shows his prowess at making women uncomfortable. They sense something about him that is unwholesome.
I was talking to Emma there.
Well, stop talking to Emma when you should be listening to the programme.
I said I got up at 10 past
Emma's
7.
looking very attractive the more she becomes pregnant. She's getting far better looking.
What do you mean far better looking?
No, she's looking really...
That's not a compliment.
No, she's looking stunning.
I know it's meant as a compliment, but it's, I mean...
Would you not think anyone can always be better looking? I mean,
no.
It's impossible for me to be more handsome, but I'm talking about ordinary people.
You can't say to a girl you're getting better looking.
Yeah, you can.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, you can. You could go up to Marla Monroe. Not now, of course.
Right.
She's been dead
I'll
for
ask
50 years.
Emma.
Emma,
The
if
girl
I
that
said
you said it to.
okay, let me talk to Emma directly. Emma, if I say to you, you're looking great.
You're
getting
sticking
better
what?
looking.
You're sticking it well?
No, that's a different thing. I'm saying to her, she's looking stunning, I'm saying. And that doesn't mean to say that she didn't look well before that.
No,
See,
but that's what
a
you're
woman
looking...
can always look more beautiful, always. A woman can never be more beautiful, too thin or too rich. Always remember that. Always remember that, Sean. And listen when I tell you that I know about these things. I know how to talk to women. You do
I
too.
know you do.
But you
I
do
don't
too.
think that's one of your... I don't think that was one of your best lines.
Yeah, but let Emma decide. Ask Emma, was she flattered or indeed insulted by that remark?
She doesn't know you, say.
You see, she's always on your side.
No.
Anyway, that's Tony Joe White. Never mind, Emma. Look,
And
leave
you
her
keep
alone.
your hands off her.
I just give her a little...
You tickled her.
I know, but I wanted
You
to...
shouldn't tickle pregnant women.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. There was so much of it there.
You see?
I couldn't pass it. Now, that's a compliment. And now the story of two local lads who left for the shores of America during the 19th century were parted, but reunited under bizarre circumstances. Two guys who left County Derry, Mahara, that area, round about Mahara, and they were friends. And when they got to America, they split up and did various different things. One of them went off in gold mines, 49 or whatever it was, and the other one had a very interesting time, and he ended up being captured by the Indians. And would you hear this? He survived being scalped. That sounds like a first.
How did he survive?
Well, I think that's what happened to Barra Best. No, he's all right.
That's a terrible thing to say about wee Barra.
I just threw it in there.
Barra,
No,
I apologise.
I'm sorry, Barra. I mean, Barra's a nice guy. But, I mean, that could have happened to him and he's not telling anybody. But can you imagine being scalped and then you pass out and then you wake up and you look in the mirror and say, Jesus, boys, that's some haircut.
How do you expect Barra Best to come on the TV tonight and tell us the weather?
His hide is thicker than you think. That man hadn't... Any man who goes on TV must expect things to be said about him. But do you know how to... I know how to scalp a white man. Now, people don't know. Do you see in the movies? What you do is you see him going, hello, white man. And you see him jump off his horse and the white man's like, oh, don't scalp me, mister. Don't scalp me, mister. I just got a haircut. You see, and he grabs a white man by the hair and he goes, fight! And then he holds up, I'll scalp a white man. Like that. It's not as easy as that. When I was in America not so long ago, I was doing a documentary about a scalp hunter who was from Antrim. His name is James Kirker. Did you ever see that movie, The Scalp Hunter, with Burt Lancaster in it? Hello?
No, I'm listening to you.
Oh, yeah,
You told me not to interrupt you.
No, but I asked you a question. Did you ever see that movie, The Scalp Hunter, with Burt Lancaster in
I
it?
said I don't know.
You don't know if you saw it or not?
No, you did tell me about it. Is it about a boy scalp hunting?
Yes. It's about a man who was the head of a band of desperados who ran around scalping Indians because they got $200 a pelt.
But did they not scalp Mexicans as well?
Yes, they did. That's the whole point, because you can't tell the difference between a Mexican scalp and an Indian scalp. So you'd say, there's a Mexican scalp him. That's a couple of pound there. Look, scalp him now. Radio Ulster is the only radio station in the world where a person can tune in of a morning and receive detailed instruction on how to scalp a white man. City Beat never did that, even when Nolan was there. And I go into an Indian camp and I see you standing there with your fellas in your loincloth. What would I say to you? I recognise you right away.
You would say, look at their legs and him.
I don't know.
Wouldn't you?
No. Oh, no, sorry, I got that wrong.
What?
The man came in and discovered the guy it was the Indian guy who spoke to him.
So now, am I the cavalry man coming in?
Now, you're the cavalry man coming in, and you see me, and you go,
Ooh boy, easy boy.
what are you doing?
So I'm stopping the horse.
Oh, sorry.
Ooh boy, easy boy. Well, I do declare, I recognise that man there. Hey, you, Indian. What's your name, Indian? I recognise that face.
How are they all in Mahara?
Wow.
That's what he said.
Is that right?
That's what he said. How are they all in Mahara? Now, incidentally, apparently it says in the paper, but I don't believe this, but it may well be true.
Even though he's from Maharafelt.
Maharad was.
Was it? Right.
Yeah, he brought Maharafelt into it.
Right.
For no reason. Anyway.
I always get mixed up in Maharafelt and Mahara.
There's no reason for it. You just leave out the felt, as Emma wished I'd done this morning. Welcome to the Daily Jerry Anderson podcast. I talked to the greatest man this morning. Before you came in, you may have been still in your bed. He's a falconer, and he lost a female sparrowhawk. But he told me great things. And I said to him, come on the programme and tell me all the things you're telling me. But he wouldn't, because he said he was shy. And I understand it. This man has genuinely lost a female sparrowhawk. And he was telling me about it. He said, this is a very unusual hawk, he says. A sparrowhawk. He said, it's imprinted.
No.
Do you know what that means?
No.
Well, no, neither did I.
No, I don't know what it was.
And he said, it's imprinted to me, to its owner. I said, what does that mean? He said, it thinks that I'm its father.
Ah.
And also he said, the very interesting thing, he said, when it gets older and wants to breed, it'll want to breed with me. I said, how do you do that? He said, artificial insomnia.
Right.
So he's going to use artificial insomnia, and the bird won't let anybody near him except him. It's kind of like, our wives.
Right, yeah. Lovely. You're in trouble again. Yes.
Imagine having a cat, that thought you was its father and that wanted to have sex with you. What would you do? You'd have to kick it away with your leg.
How can people stop it? How can people help that man?
Well, I'm coming to that. No, it disappeared from the Harbour Road in Knockcree Avenue in Kilkeel. It disappeared. It looks like it's kind of brownish.
Was I ever in Kilkeel?
Yes, I do believe you were.
Was I?
A man once got me up against a wall in Kilkeel. In a pub.
In a pub, I remember.
And he said, there's a pub, there's a pier there.
I don't think I was ever in it.
I don't think you went there that time anyway. No. There's a pier there, and there's a kind of a pub down near the pier. It's a fisherman's pub. And I was brought in there. And I'm standing there, and this fella comes up to me and he says, I can't do a Kilkeel accent, I can't remember what it was. He says, you're from the BBC, are you? I said, as a matter of fact, I am. He said, well, what's wrong with them people? Mm-hmm. I says, I don't know what's wrong with them. There's not much wrong with them. They employ me, that's all right. He said, they don't give the weather forecast when you want it. I said, what do you mean? He says, I don't want the weather forecast at 9 o'clock in the morning. I need it at 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm out in the boat. And he got me up against the wall. No, really. He got a drink taken. I said, will you do that about it? Will you do something about it? I said, calm down, I said. Calm down, I said. I said, what you're talking about here is a shipping forecast. He said, yeah, a weather forecast. I said, no, shipping forecast. He said, I said, you can get that on Radio 4. He said, it's not relevant. He said, why don't you give me that? He didn't say relevant.
No.
Didn't say relevant.
But they get that's at 12 o'clock every day, doesn't it?
Well, he didn't know. He wanted that another time.
But when
I can't remember the bones of his argument.
I mean, if you get it at 12.
No, but he wanted it. He said it's the wrong time. Whatever it is, maybe he wants it at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever. I don't know when he wants it. Do you think I was listening to him? All I could see was his fist in front of my face. Relevant. That reminds me. Do you know what that reminds me of? Do you remember that film, The Boxer? Did I ever tell you the story about that? It's not a story, but it's about the greatest...
What's The Boxer about?
Boxing. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, it's not Sylvester Stallone?
No, Daniel Day-Lewis. And Daniel Day-Lewis became a boxer, a real boxer, and Barry McGuigan trained him for the movie.
I'm a boxing fan. I don't watch boxing films.
That's okay. I didn't ask if you watched the boxing
films.
Because
they can't do it.
No, they can't do it. No, but Daniel Day-Lewis could do it because Barry trained him, and Barry said that if he had worked harder, he could have become a professional boxer.
Barry would say that.
You used to do a great Barry. Remember you used to do Barry?
I was listening to Barry yesterday.
He's changed now.
He's all changed.
Remember you used to talk like that? He doesn't do that anymore.
No,
well, what did he used to talk like? Can you remember?
I'd like to take this opportunity now to thank Mr. Eastwood. Remember us all that. I'd like to thank Jerry Anderson. And he thanked everybody, didn't he?
And Sandra and Blaine.
And I'd like to thank everybody for coming to the fight. I really appreciate it.
He was good then,
He was good then.
Can't do another bit.
He was hungry. He was hungry then, wasn't he?
Can't do another bit. I like that.
I really appreciate the support I get from both sides of the community.
Protestants and
Catholic.
I'm going to tell you something now. My mother, for a great period of her life, after she was 60, and she lived until she was 97, for 30 or 40 years she lived in mortal terror of roosters. Do you know why?
No.
Because her mother before her, my granny, had been pecked by a rooster on the back of her leg, and she never got rid of it, and it became poisoned, and it eventually actually more or less killed her.
Is that right?
Yes, killed by a rooster. But, it took a long time. It became septic and, infected, that kind of thing. At that time, people didn't have the kind of medical care that we have available now, But that didn't. So my mother was terrified. That's why there's a fear in me of roosters. Even though I'm a bit of a one myself.
Geese.
I've got another...
Geese? Janice, how do you feel about geese?
Geese?
Geese are cheeky boys.
I'll tell you what. You know what you should be very afraid of? Swans.
Ach, never.
I'm telling you
Not
something
at
now.
all.
I know swans.
Not at all.
Swans come up to my door. Down where I live down beside the water, There was a colony of swans down there. It's very much reduced now. There's 2 of them down there at the moment. They live around the bend of the river.
Is it a colony?
Whatever you call them.
I don't think it's a colony.
I like the sound of it.
I like the
Colony
sound
of
too, but
swans.
it's not a colony.
Well, it is a colony as such. It's a...
Janice, it's a flock.
All right. It's not a flock.
It's not.
A flock of swans. Wise up.
No,
it's not.
It's
You're
not.
just guessing and trying to be smart. You finished reading the paper now, are you? You must have read that in the paper, did you? Anyway, no, it's not. It's a colony, meaning a
Like
collection.
a family.
Yes, a colony. In other words, there's a bunch. Actually, you can see the swan's
Bunch of
nest
swans.
when you go up the River Foyle in a boat. You see, there's great passages of the River Foyle where the banks are uninhabited. There's nothing on the bank. They're wild. Do you realise that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just checking that you realise that. I mean, it's not as if there's people living along.
No.
There's parts that are really wild, inaccessible parts, and that's where the swans live. The swans have nests, you can see them. But for some reason, some of them were, scumbags went down after them a couple of times, and I think they scared them off. But there's only 2 of them there now. But there was a time there was about 6 or 8 of them. Now, they used to come up the river, and there was a woman who used to live round the corner from me, and that's where the little Culmore Lighthouse is, and the old O'Doherty Fort, O'Docherty's Fort, very historic area.
Yes.
And there's lovely little fishermen's cottages around the side, anyone who's been down there. And there's a lady who lived in one of the fishermen's cottages, used to feed the swans. She used to go out every morning at a certain time and give them bread. And one morning she didn't come out, and they came up and knocked on her door.
Isn't that great? That doesn't mean they're cheeky.
No, but what happens is, if you approach a swan and it's eating or something like that, and or it's got a little one with it, it'll go for you.
How do you know?
I've seen them doing it.
No, you haven't.
No, I haven't.
No, you haven't.
How do you know I haven't?
I know you haven't, because you haven't been down at that time of the morning. You've never been down.
Oh, do you think they only go for you in the morning?
No, but you haven't.
They are there all day. All day. You don't get near a swan. Swans have big feet. Do you ever see those feet they have? They go for you.
They do. If you would leave
a swan could break your leg. A swan could break. They're very, very strong.
I'm not denying that, but I think if you leave a swan alone, a swan will just go gracefully about its business.
What did I just say? If you annoy them when they're eating or when they're with their young, they'll go for you. Isn't that
Well,
what I just
any
said?
mother would do the same.
Not my mother would never have attacked anybody if she'd been with me. So we often went to Portrush. She never attacked anybody. Her and I'd be in Barry's, and she'd never attack anybody because they came near me. You're afraid of cats.
Yeah, I'm afraid of cats.
I know, but why? How did you ever become afraid of cats?
A cat bit me.
You see. Thank you.
Now, there you are. A cat bit me in the back of the hand.
Was it a serious bite? Or just a bit of a...
It was
I can't hear you at all, Mama.
Sorry about that. Did it break the skin, this cat?
Yes.
Was there blood?
It was my fault.
What did you do?
Because, well, I was petting the cat.
Yes, that's an affectionate thing to do.
Yes, but even then, I think, before the bite, I was afraid of cats.
This fear may
This
have transmitted
compounded.
itself to the feline.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
It was. I don't blame the cat. I blame me, because when I was petting the cat, and I was in this house, and there was an old lady who owned the cat, and she's, "Oh, look, the cat loves you. Pet the cat." And I didn't want to pet the cat. She's, "Go on, pet the cat," and I was going, "Pet, pet, pet."
Now, Janet enjoyed that.
Hanging on to the back of my hand.
Oh, did it hang on?
Going,
Did it was hanging off your hand?
shake, shaky, shaky.
You had to shake it off.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
You see?
Shake off a cat.
Hey, you see? And then the old lady said to him, she says, "Ach, what did you do to the cat, son?"
What's that cat doing hanging off your hand? What did you do to it?
Aye.
Anyway, welcome to the daily Jerry Anderson podcast, where the presenter is not afraid to join in the tributes to the late Frank Carson. There used to be a whole kind of after hours scene in the Europa Hotel, particularly when May was doing the pantomime, as he still does. And Frank, if he was in town, Frank would be there because the Europa Hotel is the most wonderful place after 11 o'clock because they allow anybody in. Do you know what I mean? It's, you might be sitting there with the captain of industry and he's sitting talking to a bin man. And of course, Frank's father was a bin man. You know, you get that. There's completely classless. And people there, and if you know the right people, you can sit there and drink. Do you know what I mean? And there's no real kind of thing like, sorry, it's time to go. None of that. Anyway, these sessions would develop, and May McFetridge would be there, and Frank would come in. And whenever Frank would come in, I used to see, I'm going to call him May, just for the benefit of May, because you call him John, people don't know. John Lenihan, May. But May's eyes used to light up, because May knew there was a contest going to start. So when Frank would sit there, and then the two of them would try and outdo one another. And it was wonderful to watch. And you could just sit back and just listen to it. Because they're just trying to outsmart each other and outtell jokes. And not just, they weren't firing jokes, it was just banter. An amazingly high-quality banter.
You'd be afraid in that company,
I would never open my mouth.
You'd be afraid to speak? Absolutely.
I would never. I should just sit there and I'd say...
just wipe the floor with you?
I'll just have an... Imagine, and then, but what would happen then would be, somebody would come over who didn't know the score, and they'd say, did you hear this one?
Oh,
and they'd just look at him, you know? And the fella, if he didn't know any better, he would continue on. Continue on! And he would tell the joke, and there's always a silence. And then you just continue to talk to each other.
It's funny, I never feel comfortable, and I mean this in a complimentary way. I don't mean this in a bad way. I never feel company in May McFetridge's company. Simply because you're afraid you say the wrong thing, bang, he's in there. That's all. You're watching, you think, will I say this? No. And you think twice about saying something. Will I say it? No, I won't say it. Will I say it? And I can never be myself in his company.
That's right, I'd be the type, because he's so sharp.
He is.
He's so sharp, you see, just pick up any small thing that you say, there's anything wrong with it at all, anything weird about it, just he hammers on it. Hammers on it. But you see, Frank wasn't like that.
No, Frank wasn't like that.
He wasn't like that, but he would just continue to batter on. You see,
Frank would tell you joke after joke after joke.
Two of them together.
You get tired laughing after a while.
But I was saying to the fat boy there, I used to be very fascinated by Frank's Italian background. I used to often talk to him about it, and he was very good about it. You know, he used to get quite serious when he talked about that. You know, because he was well aware, you know, that he's got this kind of Sicilian blood, you know, and he was a great hybrid, kind of, you know, Northern Irish Sicilian. You know, what a great combination. And that was kind of, you know, that's what made him different. And the first time I ever met him, when I was 14, because as people in Londonderry know, he was well known here long before he was well known anywhere else.
That's where his career started, really, wasn't it?
Exactly, because Bishop Daly, of course, who's well known as that. Remember that iconic photograph of the hanging?
Yes.
If everybody knows who Bishop Daly was, well, he spotted his talent early. So Bishop Daly used to run these series of concerts in a venue here called St. Column's Hall. And they were high quality, and you used to get all the big names like Jim Reeves and people like that. You used to get big names along, and it used to be a Sunday night concert, and it was respected all over the whole country. And he needed a compere, so it was Frank. So he got Frank. And Frank used to always do this, and he stepped on from there. Then he did pantomime, and then he just worked on. He spent years and years up here. Mention of Derry/Londonderry's place in the career of Mr. Carson brings back an encounter the presenter himself had with the great man. It did nothing for either career.
The person who topped the bill on the Sunday night in the London Palladium played the following Sunday in St. Colum's Hall. And that was the deal.
That's right.
That's a fact. So that's the sort of people Frank was brushing shoulders with then.
Well, you see, he never forgot that. And he kept that going even when he was actually appearing in the London Palladium. He would keep an eye out for who would be good for St. Colum's Hall in Derry/Londonderry, which would be not a thing that many people would do. You'd be thinking about yourself. So he was thinking about, you know, Bishop Daly or Father Daly at that time. Who would he like? Oh, I think he might like Roy Orbison. Roy, that's it. Off you go. Anyway, I appeared at one of those concerts as a member of a band called the Satchmo Trio. Did I ever tell you about this?
Yeah, but tell it because it's important.
The Satchmo Trio was a trumpet player, a piano player, and a guitar player. And the guitar player was me. And it was the first time I had ever appeared in any kind of stage. I was like 15, I think. I may have been 16 now. I think I was 15. So we rehearsed 2 numbers. And I would just play the chorus, and we would play, you know, the Saints or something like that. And then after we played the 2 songs, my legs were shaking. I was so incredibly nervous. So we went off the stage after we played the first 2 numbers, and then we got an encore. People were clapping, more. You see, it's because they probably felt sorry about it. So the other two guys said, "Oh, maybe good." I said, "I can't go on." I can't go on. I don't know any more songs. I said, come on, stand there anyway. And I couldn't do it. I didn't realise that it didn't matter if you knew anything or not. So the other two went on, the piano player and the trumpet player, and they did another song, and I didn't go on. And I stood there, you see, and Frank was standing beside me. He said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "I don't know any more songs." He says, "That's okay." And then in the middle of the song, he just grabbed my ear and he dragged me on the stage. He says, "I found him in the toilet." Talk continues on the Carson Trail. The presenter and Mr. Coyle having put in their hours with the great man. And talking of great men, I should warn you that there are traces of Geordie Tuft in the air this morning. Were you with me one day when we were with Frank at the Moyola Golf Club?
Yes.
You were there, weren't you?
Yes.
I wasn't sure. I can't remember you there.
I ended up sleeping with him.
Well, that's another story.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you remember when we were going there in the car?
Yes.
Do you remember what he did?
Yes, he fell asleep. And then
Do you remember what he did?
Yes.
What did he do?
He fell asleep. He was talking, of course. And in the middle of his chat, he went to sleep and he dozed off. And there was silence in the car. And it was great. And then Frank woke up. And he was passing this sort of bombed out or...
No, it was an archaeological ruin. It was an old castle.
There was an old building on, and he shouted, "Vandals!"
That's right.
Yes.
That was very spontaneous. He just woke up and said, "Vandals!"
And away he went again.
It was like a 8th century church.
He never, ever stopped.
Never devolved.
Never devolved.
Dear Wallace and Gromit, here's something not to... Oh, is there someone on the phone here?
Yes,
hello,
too.
do that first. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Jerry.
Is that Geordie?
That's myself.
Geordie, Mr. Coyle has expressed some interest in what your opinion would be as to what kind of weather this is that we're having. Apparently it's in a remarkably mild spell.
Well, it's coming in mild.
It's coming in mild, but it's not going to last long. Apparently it's going to finish sometime today.
Well, there'll be rain and hailstones.
There will be rain and hailstones. You forecast this?
And Rusty.
Pardon?
Rusty, my dog.
Rusty, your dog, yes?
He got the black one.
He's at the...
What?
What's he
He
saying?
got the black one.
The
What is
black
that?
fox.
Oh,
The black fox. Oh, the black fox.
Oh! You've got a black fox?
A black one.
A black fox? That's very unusual.
And, we were in one time, where was it?
I think...
Where all the things was.
All the things
Arabian
was?
Tuss and you name it.
Europa Hotel, was it?
No, hey.
Oh, the museum.
Oh, where all the things are.
The Ulster,
It's a
the Ulster
museum,
Museum.
Ulster Museum,
Yes,
yeah,
the Ulster
yeah.
Museum. Yes?
Oh, yes.
The bones and everything.
That's the old bones.
Yes, let me just explain what Geordie is referring to. He's not explaining himself too well. We went on a bus one time and we went to the Ulster Museum with some artefacts. We asked people to bring along things that they'd find at home that they thought was archaeologically or perhaps historically interesting. So we brought things along to the museum and experts looked at them and stuff like that. So, Geordie, what did you bring? You brought something, didn't you? You brought yourself.
I did.
But did you bring an object with you?
I did.
What was the object? I can't remember.
Purse.
A what?
A wee purse, a wee silver purse that the ladies used to...
That's right, yes. A kind of like a dance purse. The ones used to hold it when they were at a dance waiting for to be asked to dance, that kind of thing.
Waiting for to be.
All right,
Waiting
then.
for to be
All right. Anybody can
to
make a
be
mistake.
asked. Oh, that's
Looking for to be-
waiting for to be asked.
What, are you some kind of grammar?
Oh, you pull me up off enough, don't you? Waiting for to be asked.
You're worse than me.
But Jerry, he made good money, the
Yes.
black fox.
Indeed, yes.
£100 I got for.
Oh, the black fox.
I got £100 for.
You got £100 for the black fox. Now,
Yes.
Did you
And
kill...
Lord wee Rusty, he'll have a for a bone this evening.
How did you apprehend this black fox? How did you catch it?
I can smell an old fox.
Can you? Well, how did you get it?
What?
Did you trap it?
No. He went into a hole.
Am I down the wrong road here? Am I going down the wrong road
That's
here?
fine. The black fox went down a hole.
Tell me about the fox, the black fox. When
He
did
went
you
down a
first?
hole.
He went down a hole.
Okay, right. And Rusty,
And-
Rusty then
He trailed Rusty out.
he trailed Rusty out.
Uh-huh.
But sure, shouldn't.
But Rusty, his teeth on him like a crocodile. The back of the ear of the jugular vein.
Oh, stop. Yeah, okay.
And
Right.
Rusty held on. I was standing my best and I said, Rusty, let him go.
Rusty responded to this, did he?
But he wouldn't let him go.
I don't know. Well,
And
I'm
then
sure.
the big orange eyes just closed like that. And that was it.
That was it. The fox expired there and then.
Uh-huh.
So
And then when I lifted him and threw him over my shoulder, old Rusty was still hurling on them how to carry it to him home.
What a dogged dog.
Huh.
Right, so what a sight that is. That's I hope children can
You
picture
do
that.
not mess with Rusty.
A man with a dead red fox with a dog hanging onto its throat.
Ah.
That's something that we'll cherish. Thank you. Well, thank you,
What
Jordy.
about the time you were in the Rupo Hotel
What about it?
and you went down and the shutters were coming down?
What did you say? The what? were coming?
Strippers.
No, the shutters
Shutters, the shutters.
Shutters, yes. Yes.
was coming down.
Yes.
And you says, a glass of vodka.
A glass of vodka, yes, that sounds like me.
And he says, no, we're closed.
Yes.
And then you said, I'm Jerry Anderson.
I did not.
You did?
You did.
That's a lie. I
You did.
not.
Yeah,
You
said,
did.
I'm Jerry Anderson, you know.
That's right.
I did. I
I'm
wouldn't do
staying
that.
here, you said. I'm a
I
resident.
might have said I'm a resident.
No, you said, I'm Jerry Anderson.
Yes, and what happened then, Jordan?
And then the man says, I don't care who you are, the Queen of England or the Power Room, you're getting moved.
That's a lie.
And you went off in a huff.
That's a black lie.
Ah, you
dirty-
went off in a huff.
It's a calumny. That's a lie in front of the Lord. That's a lie. I would never do that. They would
No,
never.
you did.
They would never treat me like that. I practically live there.
I was there, I seen it.
All right
Listen,
then.
I want to know where the 100 quid came from.
Where did the 100 quid come from?
The Black Fox.
Who did you give it?
I got £100 for it.
From whom?
Ah,
From who? Who gave you £100 for it?
the Ulster Folk Museum.
Right. Thank you, George.
Bye, mate. God bless. Give her a little week.
Thank you for listening.